Welcome to Chats with Changemakers, the Northeast podcast for people making the world a better place. Hi, and welcome to Chats with Changemakers. I'm your host, Kate Duffy, and today I have been interviewing Tove Crossland from Ocean Zen CIC. So Tove set up Ocean Zen back in 2019 with her fellow director, Nicola, and they ultimately wanted to be using their personal experiences, their passion, and their expertise to help people across the Northeast to just be the best versions of themselves. So this is very much an organisation that's about well-being, and it's about helping people to reach their full potential. They've got an absolutely beautiful space in Whitley Bay for all of your well-being needs, which includes a shop where you can buy alternative clothing, crystals, and other accessories. So without further ado, here's my interview with Tove. Hi, everyone. And today I am interviewing Tove Crossland from Ocean Zen CIC. So welcome, Tove.
Hello, thank you.
No worries. So Tove, tell us a little bit about Ocean Zen CIC. What does it do?
So what we do quite a lot, but we do stuff around well-being for people. And we'll look at you in a holistic way, which means we'll look at the whole approach for yourself. We work with you in a mindful way, and we do things like meditation and nature and things like that, one-to-ones, group work, where we could connect with each other and really support one another with what we need. We offer holistic therapies as well. We're both holistic therapists here, and Nicola and I, and that includes things like energy healing and Reiki. What else does it include?
Okay.
Crystal facials, crystal healing and work like that, Indian head massage, all things to make you feel really good. And that's from young people through to elderly people. So that's everybody. And we
Amazing.
even work with animals sometimes.
Oh, cool. And where are
Yeah,
you based?
we're based on one Park View in Whitley Bay, right in the centre in
Nice.
North Tyneside. So right on the coast, hence the name. Ocean
Ah,
Zen.
lovely. And what brought you to that arena, Tove? Because that's like all of those different
Yeah.
holistic therapies and
Yeah.
well-being. Like what drew you to that as a sector?
Well, I was really interested in supporting people in the community way. I'd come from a background in education where I worked for 20 plus years as a counsellor, mentor, and a teacher.
Mhm.
Sadly, my career was cut short because I was hurt at work by somebody that I was working with in a challenging behaviour setting, let's say.
Mhm.
So I was already beginning to look at things that could support me that would be better, because I had a diagnosis of PTSD and severe mental health where I couldn't leave the house at one point. So Reiki found me
Mhm.
um, through some of the fairs I was doing, because I've always done like wellness related events as well.
Right.
And I'd always felt the pull towards a community based
Mhm.
um, project or some business that was that sort of model. So I had very quickly looked at the community interest model, and not necessarily charity, but just really wanting to have something like that and have a premises where people could come in and access that and be educated a little bit about it.
Interesting. And you
So yeah,
mentioned at the start, Nicola. So
yeah.
how did you guys find each other in terms of creating this social enterprise?
In the school playground.
Mhm. No way.
Yeah, 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 in the school playground. We quickly became good friends. I was doing like a network marketing based business, which I got wonderful training through for wellness products, and she decided to join me in that. So we did training together and other things, and we spent a lot of time together. And we quickly realised that we had skills that we could really um, bring together and
Mhm.
fruition, which would really support the local community and the lived experience that we've both been through, which is very vast. We're both single mums. I would say that with pride because, a lot of people are finding themselves in that position now. We do work with men and women, so parents from different backgrounds, and it's set us up really well to do that. But yes, we were friends essentially in the school playground and still are, and our children were in the same year group. So
Amazing.
it was born out of us retraining a bit as well to bring that into the business as well, which was just really exciting.
Amazing. It's so
Yeah.
important, isn't it, to have those real connections rather than it just being this skill-based transactional relationship at that director level.
Yeah.
Interesting. So let's fast forward then, or go back to the beginning if you like. So June 2019, you decided to set up as a CIC.
Yeah.
So we're talking COVID era there, aren't we? 2019.
Yeah, we didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
I would say that we might have seen it coming because we sometimes do, but we didn't, by the March the following year. However, because of the model and well, not the model, the setup, we had gone for awards for all, which we've been awarded successfund year on year, actually, which is
congratulations.
amazing, which is amazing. We're very grateful to that, and the people that fund us and support us as well on the projects. And what we did was we had a business plan, of course, for here. We didn't have a shop at all. We didn't have a retail element, really. We sold a couple of things on a shelf, but we didn't have that as a main focus. However, we diversified really quickly because we had like a cafe style setup in the front as you come in off the street, and for workshops. And of course, we couldn't do that. We couldn't do face to face.
Yeah.
So what we did was we got funded to do Zooms online and online work, coffee mornings and the like, so people still felt connected that we'd begun to connect with, because we had like a big launch, and we had visiting facilitators come in who were quite renowned meditation teachers and so on. So we quickly just had to diversify, evolve, which we've done ever since, because it's not a straight road, but it's a wonderful one, full of learning.
Yes.
So yes, it was, I think others felt that we weren't quite, by that I mean friends and family and so on, felt we were quite vulnerable. I didn't actually feel like that. I felt we were in a very strong position as a social impact provider.
Interesting.
With lots of ideas, which I'm always full of ideas. I've been like that since I was young. Very creative thinking. So whilst it wasn't easy, I did a lot of work online from home, from my garden and so on, and videos and so on, and just continue to share good messages and affirmations and meditation and so on. So it was a real learning curve, but it was a really, in some ways, a positive experience, in other ways not so positive, whereby eventually we could see people, and a lot of people were really struggling with loss and being out in public and so on. So I felt that we were in a really lovely position actually to support people moving forward.
Yeah, perfect timing by the sounds of it. Really difficult timing from a business survival perspective.
Yes, it was. It was a little bit at times where it was like, oh, what's going to happen here? But I think it's the having faith and communicating with others, and just really trying to be, I know it sounds a bit corny, positive. However, we had already got a client base, really. We were very lucky. If we'd opened then, which some of the businesses around here did, open months later, I feel it might not have been the same. It might not have felt the same. So it was definitely the right time. And we still feel like that, because well-being is at the core of everybody's
super important, for sure. So Tell me then, like, what's the big future plan for you guys? Do you have huge ambitions, or is it about depth of impact in a very particular place, or what's the future got in hold for you guys?
There's always huge ambitions here.
Hmm.
It's like the ocean. There is
Uh-huh.
no like limit on it. And what I would say is, and I have to thank you for this as well, is that the groups and the connection work available to CICs and charities and CIOs is absolutely amazing.
Oh, good.
I have really felt supported and met so many beautiful people
Hmm.
who are doing similar. So what I would say is that um, we're wanting to make more of an impact with your local authority, let's say, with the combined
Mm.
authority. That's where we're looking at, and to get our finances in more order, let's say, with the help and support, because you do need support, especially if
Mhm.
you're not very good at stuff. We all do. Because that's how we learn as well, and that's how we get through stuff. So yeah, to have retreats that young people can access more with support, because without the generations being supported now, there's going to be more of a struggle in the world,
Mhm.
as this goes on, because the impact of COVID times is still prevalent. And people are still reeling from that, even though it's not really openly talked about.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, for
so
sure.
we want to, we will be securing funding to have like drum birthing workshops for people to gather in circles and so on, which is a process that obviously costs,
Mhm.
but we want to make things as accessible as possible, such as retreat times away, where people are more nature and connected, who perhaps, financially there's a barrier, but because of
Yeah,
funding, we're able to support with that. Um,
interesting.
and we've
Interesting.
stepped more into the corporate world as well. We were at a Quorum Business Park yesterday. I think that's how it's pronounced,
Mhm.
doing staff wellbeing.
Ah,
Um,
interesting.
and they want us to come in and do more work with them as well. So
Oh, perfect. So
that's
you've
how
got
it's
your
looking
income
at the minute.
streams coming
Yeah.
on online as well. That's brilliant news. And Tove, I wonder, I mean, that I can imagine that in terms of your learning, as you put it, on your journey to get to where you are now, that there's been definite twists and turns in the road. It hasn't been a very simple, I started a business and it was successful
Yeah.
story. So are there any particular tips that you can give people who are maybe at the start of that journey, looking ahead and thinking, hey, that looks pretty cool over there, but I'm right at the start?
I would say, it's accessing what you feel that you should be, that's being offered,
Hmm.
like what you do and other people, just feeling, um, researching into whatever you're doing as well a little bit,
Hmm.
evidence in that a little bit. Um, you're going to want to eventually, not right at the start, formulate a social impact report to demonstrate how you're making a difference to people, because it is about the evidence of that. It is really important,
Hmm.
um, especially if you've got core costs like we have as well, which we haven't really talked about. We have
Hmm.
a bricks and mortar business, so obviously we have to cover the overheads for that. So if you were to look at that, which is not, it's not impossible at all. You would want to be consulting with people that are out there that have that expertise. For us, it was the Business Factory, it was Tedco, still is,
Hmm.
the BIC,
Hmm.
people like yourselves. There's a lot more now um, out there. There's also a lot more social enterprises and people doing what we're doing. And I think we can all collaborate and support and learn off each other, actually, which I'm a massive advocate for.
Hmm.
And just sharing what other people are doing as well on social media or whatever it might be.
Yeah,
Um,
I
with
completely
any on the
agree.
platforms you want to. I'm not very comfortable with LinkedIn, but I had a conversation with a lady last week who suggested that that might be a good move now for me to
Hmm.
develop that. So I don't just wake up and know these things.
Yeah.
It's talking to people like yourself. It's going to places like One Strawberry Place and maybe co-networking.
Hmm.
We're going to be, as a result of going there for your training, we're going to be doing a stall there and speaking to people there.
Nice.
So that
Nice.
was really lovely. So it's that sort of thing. Whereas we were part of the expo as well for Wellbeing last year,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the lady for Wellbeing that approached us to do this work now. So it's that sort of thing where you might be going to events yourself as a person going to events, not necessarily having an event stand
Mm-hmm.
there and talking to people.
Yeah.
Because I've been a big networker for years,
Mm-hmm. It's
and I
so
think
powerful, isn't it?
that's the way forward, even if it's online.
Mm-hmm.
Free courses. I've just done a free coaching course online, which was amazing with some YouTubers. Is paid for now, but it was all free what I had to do before and tasks. So it's just stuff like that, really,
Mm-hmm.
that help you. And I know you could say, well, I don't really want to do that or whatever. I think it's just getting clear about what you want to do with your business plan
Mm-hmm.
and just looking where you might need support for that.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's
definitely.
loads of support out there. And I know the funding's wrapped up a little bit, but I'm sure there'll be more stuff.
Yeah, there always is. I think these things,
Yeah.
they come in cycles, and I think, yeah, big piece of
Yeah,
advice
yeah.
is grab it while you can, as
Grab it
long as
while you
it's
can.
as long as
Yeah.
it's relevant and it's in line with what you need to be doing at this moment. Like,
Yeah.
don't feel that you have to do everything all the time, because there will be more stuff coming out. It might be a bit different, so if it's relevant, take it, because it might not be there going forwards. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love that idea of being really focused in that as an approach, not just kind of going here, there, and everywhere and hoping for the best, but rather thinking about, what does this mean from your business plan perspective? What
Yeah.
kind of connections are you looking for? And thinking where you're then going to go and find them, rather than,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we can all find, I mean, I've seen some pretty beautiful networking opportunities recently where I'm thinking, I just want to go there for the tea and cake, that's all I want to go there for.
Yeah.
But yeah, there really are some. I think that the networking side of things for this sector has really started to blossom over the past couple of years. So, yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. Well, Tove, I've absolutely loved talking to you. And I feel like we've only just started to unwrap the onion a little bit in terms of your organisation. So we're going to be sharing all of your links that people can connect with you. And I really hope that this create some more connections for you in your beautiful network going
Oh,
forwards.
great. Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right, then. Well, speak to you soon, Tove.
Okay. Thank you.
Whilst Tove has obviously built up a huge amount of knowledge and experience and expertise over the years, I love the fact that she says that she is a continuous learner. So when starting out this journey as a change maker, it could be really easy to look at already running organizations, successful organizations, and think they must have started from a place of knowledge. They must have known this stuff before they launched their organization. But the truth is, the vast majority of this sector is led by founders with a passion or a personal experience that they want to use for good. So this means that the business skills, the HR, the financial management, the marketing, all of that stuff just comes with time. So I think Tove's approach to this is really honest, and the fact that she uses her networks as a way of not only learning and being able to access training and support opportunities, but also for her as a founder, as an individual, to keep her going and to connect with like-minded people is really important. I think her advice around being strategic in the support that you take is also really important. She mentioned the fact that her family at one point had a very different opinion to her business to how she felt about it. So they were really nervous and thinking, oof, you guys, you've picked a tricky time here. Whereas Tove and Nicola felt like, actually, this is bang on the right time. This is what's needed at this moment. So beware the voices a little bit there, being really clear in your own mind as to what's right for you and your organization at this time. I think in terms of accessing training programs and that kind of stuff, there is always going to be something out there that is going to be able to support you. We often have challenges around eligibility, funding timelines, all of that kind of stuff. But if you've missed it, there will be something. It will come back round again. But what I would say is this idea about being strategic is really important. it's very easy for people who want to make a difference to be busy. You could do what you want to do for free every day of the week. You could attend a training course that's something kind of to do with it, that might help with confidence or networking or, whatever kind of related, every day of the week. The challenge is to be productive with your time. We only have the same amount of time. We all have the same amount of time on a day-to-day basis. It's what we choose to do with that. And I don't mean if you have care and responsibilities and all that kind of stuff, of course, that reduces that down. But I mean, what we're doing with our time in terms of our organization is a choice. So if there is a course coming up on Instagram for beginners, but you've already got a Facebook page set up and a website that you're not really keeping on top of, and the maintenance of those is a little bit out of control, probably your best time isn't spent on learning another platform. It's probably best spent going and getting on with the platforms that you've already got, or doing a review to make sure, are they the right platforms? So I think her idea of being strategic with which opportunities you pick are really important. And I'd like to add to that the fact that as a support provider, as an organization that wants to support you guys, don't be afraid to ask for stuff as well. It makes our job so much easier. So in the Changemakers community, I'll occasionally put on polls and say, what are people struggling with at the moment? Is it funding? Is it whatever? It's really helpful when people say things like, what I could really do with is a 2-hour online session that helps me work out how to price my projects. I could do that for you tomorrow. That would be wonderful. We can use it as our next free activity. So don't be afraid to tell people this stuff, because we are only as good as the information that you give us. So that's my little call to action there, is if there are things that we can be putting on or other providers can be putting on for you, tell us so that we can be more responsive to what you need. Anywho, I don't feel like we really scratched the surface with our chat with Tove today. I think that she has had a really interesting journey to where she is today, and her organisation is making a huge impact across the Northeast. And I can't wait to see how the commercial side of the staff wellbeing programmes develop. So do make sure that you connect with Tove, and don't forget to subscribe to Chats with Changemakers to be notified of more brilliant interviews like this one. But I'll catch you next time. Thank you for joining today's chat. If you'd like to be featured on the next series, please email hello@junctionpoint.co.uk. Speak to you soon.